What's up, YouTube? Mike here again from the Hardcover comic, and I wanted to do a little closer look at the new binds that I got. Of course, I'm not going to go into depth like I have with some of my other ones since I don't have dust jackets on these yet. Some of these series I haven't even read yet, and I want to make sure when I do an overview of the series along with the book, I've got all the information that I need. But let's start off with this book here first. Nice black buckram, of course it is. Harbinger Wars 2. This was an event published by Valiant Comics not too long ago. Sorry, guys, just moving the mic a little. I believe it was in 2018. Looks like my table of contents got cut up a little bit during the book block cutting. That's okay. I did make table of contents for these. They didn't turn out exactly as I wanted. I kind of messed up a few things, but they're not terrible. I did design them myself, but I wish the print quality could have been a little better. But yeah, it contains Secret Weapons, the 4-part mini. It contains the Secret Weapons Origins issues and Harbinger Wars 2. So a lot of these Valiant books are going to be real experiments for me because they had these cardstock covers and back pages, and I kept all those in, and those should not hold too well with the defab binding, but we'll see how it goes. I had a Justice League bind, my Justice League Dark bind's about 5 years old, and it's got the same thing, so it's still holding together. I'm not too worried. I don't think they're gonna fall apart or anything. This isn't a super thick book, but that's the first one there. Very excited to read that again. I loved Harbinger Wars 2. I thought it was great. I love that Livewire was the protagonist there, and the Secret Weapons characters are real cool too. Next up, what do we got here? So this is an Aftershock collection that I did. Collecting those 4 series, I'm very excited to have Garth Ennis sign this thing. We'll take a quick look through it. Like I said, I got a little quick table of contents here. Doesn't really show the contents too much. Oh, sorry guys. Doesn't really show the contents too much. It just sort of, anyway. I'll do more detail later. But like I said, it contains a few mini-series. Mini-series, yeah. It's Aftershock. A lot of their titles are mini-series. So collects a few of them, of course, with Jimmy's Bastards rounding things out, which was a little bit longer. Of course, I do have a second volume that I'll be getting ready to send out to bind later this year. When I picked up these books, I usually drop off books as well, but not this time. Just taking a little break. I want to have a bigger set. Next up, another black book. It is Mother Panic. Oh, from Young Animal. I'm so excited about this. I'm so happy that I managed to bind all the Young Animal stuff. I really doubt we're gonna see anything come out of any deluxes or anything come out. So for Mother Panic, I just used the trade paperbacks. So I put all of those table of contents right at the front, just so you know what's what right from the get-go. And then it just dives in. I'm very excited about this. Mother Panic takes place in Gotham City, with a slightly different character written by Jody Houser. I'm very excited to see what's up with this series. I read the first volume, and then I just said, okay, I'll stop. Of course, it ran 3 volumes, a total of 18 issues, so this is a great size bind, as are most of the Young Animal titles. Speaking of which, this was not the color I wanted for the book. I wanted sort of a pink, but I guess the color form that Lehman has just sort of misled me. This is actually the red I would have wanted for another book that's going to be coming up here soon, but this is Shade the Changing Girl. I really enjoy this series. I read the trade paperbacks before I had them bound. Very trippy series. It's a lot of fun. It's very different. It gets pretty dark too, and you really start loving the characters. The artwork is out there. It's a lot of fun. Again, 12-issue main series, and then there was a 6-issue sort of part 2. So 18 issues total there. Next up, what do we got? All right. Of course, I'm a huge Grant Morrison fan, and I can't wait to have a spine on the shelf that has a bald head on it. That's what I'm going to do for sure for this Grant Morrison collection. Collecting We Three, Sea Guy, and Joe the Barbarian. So these were trades I had picked up, obviously, throughout the years. We 3 is incredible. C Guy actually had gotten in a comic book issue, comic book lot sort of haul. There were, the 6 issues of C Guy, collecting both minis, so I grabbed that. And then, of course, Joe the Barbarian, one of the greatest stories ever told, with the phenomenal Sean Gordon Murphy. I do have the deluxe, so that's a bit of a double dip, but I had the trade paperback just sitting at home, so I thought, why not just bind it? If I'm gonna bind We 3 and C Guy, may as well make the book a little thicker. Next up, so I don't mind the color that this is, but I kind of wanted that slightly brighter red. This is Bloodshot Salvation. Yeah, this collects the entire run, of course, by Jeff Lemire, the one and only incredible Jeff Lemire. So there's the first little page that I made for the table of contents, and then I also did put Bloodshot Rising Spirit in here as well, just because, I had collected it. It wasn't a great series. I wasn't going to put it in its own custom bind, that's for sure. So, just took the sacrifice there. But I'm very excited. Again, there's some cardstock covers in here, so we'll see how this holds up. It doesn't stay open that well because of the cardstock, but honestly, that's fine. I'm not too worried about these falling apart and being treated poorly. I'm sure it'll be fine. And then with Rising Spirit, you get regular covers again. So we'll see how that goes, but very excited about that, of course. I'm so excited to reread all these things. A lot of these are single issues. The Valiant stuff is all single issues that, I was just collecting as part of my pull list, of course, over the past few years. And so it's great to now have these. I can binge read them. I was reading them month to month before, and while it's great to do that, you do lose some detail along the way. Anyway, here we go with the next one. Orange. Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye. Yet another of the Young Animal titles here. I do have another Young Animal bind I will be sending in this year. Once that Collapser trade paperback comes in, I'm going to be doing a triple anthology bind there as well. Should be a lot of fun. Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye. This was another Gerard Way series. Michael Avon Oming on artwork. Again, I'm hoping, we see something for Young Animal at least. It would be nice if they at least did an oversized hardcover for Doom Patrol. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. So that'll be another Young Animal bind I do this year. Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye. Super pumped. And I think that does it for all the Young Animal stuff. I think so. Unless there's... No, I think that's it, though. But I still got more books. That's not it. So we do have a Marvel book here. And that is Moon Knight by Max Bemis, Jason Burrows, a bunch of other folks as well, Ty Templeton. So nice, crisp white. And like I mentioned in the haul video, I do have Moon Knight by Jeff Lemire. And I thought I did a table of contents for this one too. Shoot. Either way, this collects the entire run by Max Bemis. This was the Marvel Legacy stuff. Jason Burrows, phenomenal artwork. Very excited. I haven't broken in the binding on these guys, so they are kind of stiff. But that should be fun, and it'll sit well next to my Jeff Lemire and Warren Ellis Moon Knight Omnis. Very excited about that one, of course. All right, 3 more to go here. Haha, time to have a good time. A nice little laugh. Quantum and Woody by Kibblesmith, Elliot Rahal, Kano. I believe it's Joe Eisma as well. Fantastic little run on Quantum and Woody. That was quite short-lived. Now, what I did here, again, really experimental with a lot of these binds, man. Got these foil covers. So I think I have foil covers for every issue except one. So it'll be interesting again. I mean, it's dope. I love it. I don't know if anyone else will ever make this book. Very exciting. So it'll be really cool to have this on the shelf. Valiant may do a deluxe someday for this run. I don't care. I've got my own already. I'm very excited about this. Love me some Valiant, and this Quantum and Woody run is quite solid. So that's pretty exciting. Get you guys some of that shine there. 2 more books. Second last one. I'm trying to guess what this is. It's purple. Oh, yes, another Valiant book. Shadow Man. So this is the Andy Diggle run, and of course I included Punk Mambo in the back, the miniseries by Cullen Bunn. No foil covers here, just good old classic binding. Really cool stuff. Should be fun. Again, I'll do a more in-depth overview once I've got dust jackets on these, which will probably be sometime in March once I visit Matt and get those done at Houchin. Now, this next book is the biggest custom bind I now own. I did not think this would be such a giant book, but it is. It is EXO Man OWar. So I mean, pause that screen and then take a look at some of the other books I've whipped out. This is gigantic. This is by far the biggest custom bind I have, and I've bound some pretty wild, thick books like Batman Nightfall and No Man's Land, stuff like that. This is by far the fattest little boy I've got, and this does collect the entire EXO Man OWar series by Matt Kindt, including Eternity, since that does sort of tie in. And guys, I used the gold issue #1 signed by Matt Kindt that I got a couple years ago at Planet Comic-Con. Say what you will, this is a legendary bind for me. This is probably my favorite bind that I have now because there's just so much cool stuff with it. The gold #1 signed by Matt Kindt, biggest bind I've got, and of course the content is goddamn brilliant. Let me see. I haven't worked in the binding yet, but let's go into the middle here and take a quick look at that eye hole. Pretty damn solid, right? I mean, come on, defab glued binding. It's tough for it to stay open because of these cardstock covers. That's my fault. Lesson learned. But it's, there's no other choice. Maybe the trade paperbacks I don't think they had cardstock, but, the single issues were cardstock, and that just is what it is for me. Same goes for Eternity. But very, 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 very excited for this. Look at this monster. Beast, fatty. But okay, guys, that's about it for me. I will try and line some of these up as I finish my talk here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was Mike from the Hardcover Comic. I'm very, very excited. I'm not going to stack up anything. Very, very excited to make dust jackets and design all these and make some more in-depth videos once I've taken my time and reread through them all. Thank you all very much. Tell me which book you hope we see an official release for, which one you personally like the most, and if you are planning to bind any of these yourself, let me know. I'm always excited when other people have, the same ideas as me. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Mike from the Hardcover Comic. As always, until next time, you stay classy, Internet.